How you doing, John? Everything okay?
Yeah, it's just been rough at work. Woo.
Just nonstop. And I'm sure I was just talking to my old buddy C.
We're live,
He
by the way.
Oh, hey everybody.
Yeah.
And he was on the show a while back on the Beatdown show from San Diego.
Yeah.
But C works at like a really small, like 10-person like sandwich shop / bar. And he was just talking about they just found out today in San Diego that they were at 25% indoors. They're back in the zone where it's strictly outdoors starting on Saturday. So he's like, we have a couple days to fucking crush it. And he was saying he's really lucky because like their takeout service has like always been on fire. Like they're like one of those like lunch spots that everybody gets sandwiches from, But yeah, it's and I can't imagine how crazy work's going with you with like expanding to.
At least it's San Diego.
Yeah.
I mean, we're just barely going to make payroll without dipping into the money Dan borrowed to open a new brewery. It's
fuck yeah.
It's and we were closed today for snow, and it was 46 degrees today. Nobody wanted to sit outside. Go figure.
Yeah.
So
all right. You gonna give me an opening here, Solomon, or are you gonna make me do it myself?
Fuck. Yeah, we're live. Hey everybody. Seeing how the sausage gets made, huh? All right, give me a second. What are we talking about? Talking about
hey,
Cody's a jerk.
Hey, Jeff McKinney.
Kristen has bad taste in wine. What's the deal with Rhett? Does he have a beard or not? Who knows?
Who knows?
So what are we discussing?
Oh, that looks good to you guys. Brad drinking more of the Hop Butcher. They make some good double IPAs. Cody's asking all the important questions. My fantasy football team is so feast or famine.
You know what? I was so. If I had made a couple of changes, I would have won.
I could either throw up like 150 or like 12.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna win this week. By the way, I'll be number 2. All right, I did something that I think reflects the mood.
That is the best capture of what our show is about.
Thanks. It's better than being called the what?
It's the Seinfeld of the drinking world. Thank you.
It's better
the view of the.
Yeah, it's better than being called the view.
Hey, Douglas, we haven't said hi to Doug Trapasso in a while. How you doing, Doug?
I don't think Doug listens to us anymore. I think he gave up on us. All right, I think all my audios are good. I think
who would give up on this fucking amazing show? Oh God, hey, happy Marine Corps birthday! Happy Veterans Day, everybody!
Yeah, for sure.
It's weird having a day off in the middle of the week.
Oh, you guys get it off?
We do. Well, normally it's like Kara was like, yeah, and then we have a Wednesday off. And I'm like, what? Because normally, like, it'll be if it's on like a Tuesday or a Thursday, it's a 4-day weekend, But middle of the week, what are you gonna do? Like,
Give you the whole
I
week
mean,
off.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Fine.
totally.
I mean, like, that's the thing. Life of a teacher, regardless of how we choose to like space things out, I have to work. John's going to be pissed. I have to work 182 days every year. And, so you may as well. Why aren't these holidays more convenient? Who said Veterans Day has to stay on the exact same numbered date every year?
Right.
It should always be like a Tuesday, so you always have a 4-day weekend.
It's Armistice Day. That's why, because it's a specific date.
But who's armistice?
It was the end of the First World War, I believe.
Oh, okay.
It's not the hangover for the Marine Corps' birthday party.
That's the day after.
Yeah, that's what
Marine Corps. Yeah. It's the Marines wake up and they're like, "Can we like make today a holiday or something?"
Day off. All right. All right, then. You guys all set?
Yeah.
All right. Here we go. John. Buckle up, John. Here we go.
At the sound of the tone, the official "We Like Drinking" time will be 5 o'clock.
No, we won't. I wasn't recording. I'm glad I caught it now. All right, here we go.
At the sound of the tone, the official "We Like Drinking" time will be 5 o'clock. Commence consumption.
This week, on episode 303 of the We Like Drinking podcast, we'll be discussing, I don't know. We're tired. Are you tired? It's been a long week and it's Tuesday. What do you want from us? What's wrong with you people? So crack open that beer, uncork that wine, and let's get drinking! Listeners, viewers, the YouTube is fat stacked right now with viewers. Everybody's asking what everybody's drinking. I think everybody honestly comes to the YouTube for each other. I think we're just kind of
it's just the excuse.
Yeah, we're just the excuse. I gotta go.
They're just doing live.
We're the old ladies out in the kitchen while the party happens in another room, right?
They're doing live roll calls, hoping they can get on this famous juggernaut of a show. It ain't gonna happen, Rhett. Shut your mouth, Brad, Kristen, Cody.
Oh, good. Now we're just.
I'm not gonna say your names. Quit watching, Jeff McKinney.
Oh, have we started yet? What? Let's just say,
hey, Doug.
Cheers, my podcast drinking friends, and welcome to Happy Hour 303 of your favorite award-winning topical beer and wine education podcast, focusing on fun. We like to have it. So make sure you never miss another episode of our brand of drinking fun by visiting welikedrinking.com/subscribe. All right, let's get to this. We're joined by our usual panel members. We have our California Sustainable Wine Growing Ambassador and recovering wine blogger, Jeff Solomon.
Hey, shalom, everyone.
We have our commercial brewer and snake wrangler, John Riak.
Yep. Yeah. I'm here.
He's here. And I am your host and certified specialist of wine, Jeff Eccles. How you doing, guys?
I'm tired, man. You tired?
I'm kind of tired. It should it's okay. That's the name of the show.
I'm not going to be political here. I just need to say this. You know how we talk about like it's been bandied about for a long time. Make election day a holiday.
Yeah.
No, make election week a holiday.
No.
Like I couldn't do anything else. I was just like up till 11. every night. That's late for me.
No,
My bedtime's 8:30. Everyone.
no. Like what the absolute last thing we need right now is to give people more free time. Like people need to be on social media less, not more.
Hey, who the hell goes on vacation to be on social media?
We should make people work more after election day. Like there's election day, and then the rest of the week is like 12-hour days.
And then you have a test the next day. That's what it should be. Exam the following day.
So let's see what's in
but that would mean I would have to pay attention.
Yeah.
Let's
just have like nap time. Like that's why I want to be a kindergarten teacher. Actually, it's just like you guys just take a nap. It's gonna go in the back for a while.
All right, so we're hyper focused tonight, as you can hear, folks. But we're gonna find out what everybody's drinking to see how this party's gonna liven up. John Riak, what's in your glass?
We're getting I've got. So I shared a picture with the guys yesterday about the disaster that happened at the brewery, and actually, maybe I'm praying that I brewed a red lager yesterday, or it's a red German beer that's going to be lagered for about a month. Anyway, there was a seal broke. It was just a big mess. But what I saved of it was bubbling away quite well this morning. But one of the beers that is going to be going away soon is the New Zealand Extra IPA. So I brought home a squealer of that, and that's 7.4% ABV and 63 IBUs. All New Zealand hops. And so interestingly, New Zealand hops have somewhat of an English character, but they also have a tropical fruit character. So I get a little bit of stone fruit and a lot of woody notes in this.
And a little bit of chocolate pudding from the Dr. Rudy and the Takao.
It's Recao, not Takao. It's Recao.
Dare I ask, Jeff Solomon, what are you drinking tonight?
Well, I got a couple different things. So I did have, usually like I pick up my beers from Promised Land and Gilroy on like a Thursday, and they usually don't make it through to the show that we record on Tuesday. But I do have a big old can of the Promised Land Beyond the Sun double IPA, and I'm drinking it from the can, and I'll tell you why a little bit later. Also, drinking straight from the can later, just because I saw this, like I got excited, like, you know, when I think about like the older, like more established like grandfather craft breweries, whenever I see something like new from them, I get a little like excited. I don't know if y'all have seen this before, the Dankful Generously Hoppy IPA from Sierra Nevada, just in time for Thanksgiving, everybody, at 7.4% alcohol. It's look, you should get it. I don't think it's their best, but I like it, and I got some. What do you want from me? So I'll be drinking these from the can tonight. You know what I'm saying?
I'll get that after I get my first 6-pack of Celebration Ale. It should be hitting the shelves any day now.
Any day now. I have not seen that one, Solomon, so I'll be looking.
Well, and also to signify with all the, you know, there's a lot of like ugliness. Like I've seen a lot of ugliness in the last couple of weeks, before and after whatever date you want to timestamp. And I just wanted to say I'm thankful for everybody. I'm very thankful.
So I've got something for Kristen after you tell us what you're drinking, Jeff.
Well, Kristen does want to know when the turkey and stuffing chips come out.
You know what? As I was talking about this, I'm like, I need to get the fucking chips. I haven't been inside of a Trader Joe's since we've locked down. Like, I still like just pre-order my groceries. The closest store that does the pre-order, where I just drive up to the back and they throw them in the car is Knob Hill. So I like them. They're okay, but they don't do the turkey and stuffing chips. So I might have to sneak in with like a hazmat suit into Trader Joe's.
There's a place here in town that does delivered Thanksgiving dinners, and they do the whole turkey, and they take the skin off, and they re-crisp it. They carve the turkey underneath of it, and then they put the skin back on.
What?
sounds pretty freaking delicious to me.
That is awesome. By the way, I did pre-order a full smoked barbecued turkey already.
Oh.
I'm so excited, dude.
Brad H says that Celebration Ale's already in the shelves in Chicago.
I saw that comment. So what are you having? I saw some red wine in a glass.
Yeah, there's some red wine in the glass, and I couldn't think of a better wine to drink this week. I've got the toilet paper out. The red wine from TP Reserve. We had them on earlier this year. Hashtag wine helps. Hashtag we're all in this shit together. Seems like an apropos one to drink this week. So I'm diving into that one. All right. Anything else you guys want to get off your chests, air any grievances before we move on with the rest of the show?
I interesting thing. I just wanted to say that I was using the word apropos earlier, and I was typing it out, and it took me a second. I'm like, does it end with a T or an S? Like I had this like internal debate, and I had to look. It's so like defeating when autocorrect doesn't even recognize what you're writing. You're like, shit, I gotta go on the internet.
Yeah, I've got a beef.
There we go. Excellent. Let's get to it. What's your beef, John?
I got a beef with FedEx.
FedEx.
Yeah, why do they open their stores at like 9:00? Don't they know people go to work before 9:00 and want to stop at the FedEx before 9:00 and not have to interrupt their day and go back in the middle of the day? I don't want to take my lunch hour to send a sleeping bag to my grandson. I want to do it on my way to work.
Here's the thing. As the late great Mitch Hedberg would tell you, I like the FedEx guy because he's a drug dealer and he doesn't even know it. So it's drug dealer hours is when the FedEx is open.
So it's like banker's hours for like overnight delivery.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Okay.
All right. I'm glad we can clear that up. All right. Let's move on to wine, beer, spirit, or pop culture reference. This is where I'm going to give these guys a term, and they're going to try to tell me if it's a wine term, a beer term, a spirit term, or some kind of pop culture reference. If I've given this to you in the last few weeks, just say so, and we'll draw a different card out of the box. The term is, I think I have done this now that I look at it. The term this week maybe is sati. So is sati a wine term, a beer term, a spirit term, or some kind of pop culture reference? I think I've been going with John quite often lately, so I'm going to go with Jeff Solomon this week.
I believe this is a brand new, unique term, Jeff Eccles. Could you please spell that for us?
I can. SAHTI.
SAHTI.
Yes.
Sati.
Yes.
I believe it's pronounced Sade. Sati.
And wait, you're supposed to say that in like smooth, velvety tones with
taboo. Sati. Okay. Sati is a wine term. Sati is an up and coming Israeli winery. Sati.
Very good. Jeff Solomon says Sati is an up-and-coming Israeli winery. And fun fact, the shortest answer Jeff Solomon has ever given on wine, beer, spirit.
Fun fact.
Fun fact. I'm sorry. I'll interrupt them later. I'm tired. I don't know about you guys. I'm tired.
All right, John Ruyak, Sati.
It's my shtick this week.
Let me see. Oh, hold on. We have some comments. Let's see if we have. Let's see. Cody is saying that sake. It's Sati is sake infused with green tea. So I guess he's saying it's a spirit. Kristen is also going spirit. So we've got some spirit guesses coming in. Jeff Solomon's going wine. What say you, John Ruyak?
Sati is a Scandinavian farmhouse beer.
Just going straight to the
By the way, like if something is like sake based,
mm-hmm.
wouldn't we actually call that a beer? It's
Actually,
fermented grain.
I think technically yes, but what does sake normally comes in at? What, like 9 to 11%? Is that the deal?
Yeah, I mean it's like
I've never had it, and I want to. Apparently, there's a place in Colorado Springs that serves some really good sake.
All kinds of places that serve it.
Yeah, I've never had it, and I've heard some's really good and some's terrible,
really crappy. Yeah.
It definitely varies, and like that would actually be, those of you watching live right now at welikedrinking.com/show, as you ought to do every Tuesday and sometimes Wednesdays, occasionally Sundays. You should be watching, but I'd
only
love to know
at noon.
in the chat,
only at noon on Sundays.
Only at noon on Sundays. Wouldn't you want us to have a sake episode? Kristen has never had sake before.
Okay. We got to make this happen then.
I think we would all need to do like a little bit more education. Like for me, it's like, whatever the house sake is that comes in a warm pitcher is usually what I get. But I've had the fancy stuff too, but it comes down to like, it's like how polished like the rice is. Like it gets really like interesting the way that they draw flavors out. But and a lot of people refer to it as rice wine, but if it's a fermented grain, it's a beer.
Yeah, and it goes through like a brewing process. So yeah,
right. And isn't there a preparation before you serve it as well?
Depending, depending, the preparation at the places I go is you put it over a beer across 2 chopsticks and you pound the table and it falls in and then you drink it. It's great.
All right, so I guess I need to try to find somebody that knows something about sake and get them on the show is what you're saying.
Yes.
Okay.
I love sake.
I do.
I know something. It's delicious.
It is. Okay.
Get a big old, like, gigantic jug of Gekeikan. Keep that in the back of your fridge, and just every once in a while, like, boil some up and splash it in your eyes.
I'm not sure if you should boil it, but yeah, whatever. Okay, so sati, not sake, is in fact a beer term. John Ruyak knew this one a little too quickly. It is a Finnish beer brewed using barley and rye. It is fermented with bread yeast and filtered through juniper.
Yep.
Sati. Nice job.
H Ross Pro here. Can I finish?
Sure.
Because you said it was Finnish. Can I?
Rhett's got a guy. John, were you going to say something too?
No.
Yeah. No. Cody's right on. Some is very good. Some should be left for cooking. All right. Let's see. Nothing really else. So this is going to be This is going to be an interesting booze news tonight before we get to the playing of the music. This is going to be a touchy subject, one that you may be wondering why we're talking about. But we'll touch on that. But let's kick it off. The big news that we're going to talk about with Booze News. We discuss interesting, noteworthy, or some other things. So this week, a lot of you have probably seen this. This has been traveling the wires for a couple of weeks now. The master sommeliers has come under fire a little bit recently. I'm going to give us a little bit of a timeline of some of the things that was happened, and then we'll have a bit of a discussion about it. So on October 29th, the New York Times released an article called "The Wine World's Most Elite Circle Has a Sexual Harassment Problem," and the article details, really the systematic sexual harassment problem that seems to be within the court of master sommeliers, including continued problems from multiple members of the board of directors. In the article, they talked to 21 women that had experienced some kind of harassment at the hands of male master somms, including one master somm who had propositioned at least 15 female candidates, promising professional favors in return for sex. So if you're unfamiliar with how the sommelier world works, and let me be clear, none of us on this panel have any affiliation with the sommelier, the Court of Master Sommeliers, the Guild of Sommeliers, Guild Somm, none of those things. I have gone through the first level sommelier testing, which is like a 2-day course. It's very low level. You can't even call yourself a sommelier after taking that. But really, we have no affiliation with them whatsoever. We just see that this is an important story that we wanted to talk about. But how the sommelier program works, there's no study guides. There's no practice exams. Depending on the level that you go through, there's a written portion of the test. There's a service portion where you actually have to serve to other sommeliers or master sommeliers. And then there's a blind tasting portion of the exam as well. After the test is done, you don't know what the wines were. They don't say, oh, they were this, this, and this. So really, if you want to advance in the sommelier world, you have to rely on either groups or other sommeliers or master sommeliers to be able to make inroads up the chain, up the ladder. And as you can imagine, as you get higher and higher into the program, become more and more reliant on the master sommeliers that are there. So you can imagine if you want to get to that level, you need the help and counsel of the people that are in this position. Additionally, there's no formal documentation. There's no formal process how you go about sitting for these exams. You have to be invited to take some of these more, as I think as you get to the advanced and master sommelier program, you have to be invited to sit to these. So it's not something that you can actually apply for. So you can imagine the power that is held over individuals that are looking to become master sommeliers. The article details all level of misconduct these women had to endure, including how guys would tell you it's common practice to sleep with master somms, how some who did sleep with these men, and these are all allegations, right? We're not, and I'm not using names in any of this, but if you go read the article, you can see who they're calling out. Women were saying that if they did sleep with these men or do what they are asking, that sometimes they would have invitations to sit the exams, sometimes the next day. It goes on to talk about how, so many of these bright and talented women are no longer in the wine world. because of this and because of what they are having to go through if they wanted to succeed. So once this article came out, the floodgates just opened up. Countless blogs, articles, interviews, stories of women experiencing similar problems throughout the wine world have come out, and the pressure on the Court of Sommeliers to do something was swift and it was massive. On November 1st, the Court of Master Sommeliers released a statement from the board of the court, signed by the chairman of the board, who, by the way, had a slew of allegations against him as well. In it, they detailed the changes that were going to take place, including resignation and suspensions of several members of the board who were called out in the article, investigations of all allegations by outside independent firms, encouraging members to report incidents of misconduct to a third-party hotline, requirements for all members to sign and update code of ethics, requirements for all members to go through sexual harassment training, and to terminate their relationship with Guildsom, which is another organization that was started by one of the board members that had garnered a long list of accusations. The response from the community was immediate and severe, that was not nearly enough. There were calls to completely disband the entire organization. A lot of people saying that the entire board needed to resign immediately, since in some way or other, they allowed this to happen. The latest update as of today, which is November 10th, is that the chairman has resigned and the entire 15-seat board members will be put up for election. Additionally, there's a town hall coming up to discuss how to move forward. However, it sounds like only master sommeliers will be able to join that discussion. I've got some other stuff here that I could bring up, but I just kind of want to pause for a second and bring you guys in. I know this is a touchy subject, guys, but Jeff, I'll go to you first. Do you have any thoughts, anything you want to say on this?
Yeah, those of you who can see me, I'm just sitting here like in disgust right now, on a lot of different levels. I mean, you start reading through the accusations; they're horrendous. You start looking at the people that have come out since, and the stories that they're telling. Not always necessarily as like working with the Court of Master Sommeliers, but just in the wine industry in general. Like, it's just it's disturbing and it's upsetting. And I think the thing that I'm finding myself being most upset with really is that a lot of what you're hearing from folks is like, I'm shocked, but I'm not surprised that something like this happens, right? And we can take this out into like the bigger world too. I was listening to a very quick podcast that our friend Melanie Offenlock, the Dallas wine chick, had done with the wine curmudgeon. And I think I met him one time. He seemed like a good guy. And she was talking about her experience as a woman in the corporate world in general. And while the specific stories might not be exactly the same, it's just really upsetting to see how much of like a commonplace and common practice things like that can be. Yeah, and we're seeing our friend Kristen in the chat is saying that, this is something that most women contend with when they excel in a field. And again, it's just more like, ugh, I just feel gross. I do. It's not any secret that the three white guys that are on this show, we obviously beforehand, we were talking like, is this even something that we should be talking about? Like, we don't necessarily feel like authorities on the subject at all. And so I'm so glad, Kristen, that you spoke up in the chat there. And I think something that we were kind of talking about is like, well, no, in this world where everybody is saying I'm shocked, but I'm not surprised, it's how much of what is happening is people go, yeah, I'm pretty sure stuff like this happens, but it just kind of gets swept under the rug. And I think that we need to start with everything else from our perspective as men, is actually listening to it and then actually like doing something about it. It's not a coincidence that it's these entities that are these old boys clubs, and it's just kind of like it grosses me out. I'm just like I'm sick about it, and I'm so happy that people are feeling comfortable enough to start sharing their stories, like as a community, as people kind of rise up and talk about that stuff together, like that it really does make a world of difference. And I did just want to say, like, on some level, like, I almost feel like I'm falling back on like an older conversation. It's like, why are we putting so much credit with one like governing body? You know what I mean? Like, why are we clawing at each other to try to, like, really more than anything else, like you're telling me that I was thinking about you're telling me like Elizabeth Schneider or Madeline Puckett doesn't know as much about wine because they haven't reached a certain higher level. Like, they know a bunch, and like everybody knows, like, there's so many people that are really like truly like experts in the field just because they've immersed themselves in it. And it's so weird that everybody's like, but we need to be part of this one governing body in order to reach a certain level of respect. And it's like, when we put so much power in this one thing, it just lends itself to fucking sleaziness. And because it's like this elite, like, boys club, it also lends itself to people like covering each other's asses. And it's just fucking gross. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just like, I'm glad we're talking about it, but I'm just like, I'm disgusted, you know?
And and you touched on it, and anybody that I've talked to about this has said the same thing. It's like, I'm not surprised. Like, and that's part of the reason why I really wanted to bring it up on the show, is that, yeah, we're three old white dudes. I mean,
I'm not that old.
You're not that old. And, we may not
42.
have the authority to speak to this, but what we do have the authority to do is, to the other men out there, is say, we can't stand by when we see this kind of stuff happening anymore, because we all know that we have, and it's not just men, other women have seen this happen and not done anything about it. And it's the time, it's been the time, but this just seems to be a tipping point in our country's history where, this kind of stuff is going to get called out and it's going to be dealt with appropriately, until it gets to the point where people don't think they can do it anymore. And that's just how it has, like, we have to speak out when these kind of things happen, and we have to be a voice for everybody. I mean, men and women, because Jeff Solomon and I have had interesting things happen.
We did, I do. We were at the Wine Bloggers Conference, and somebody tried to make some advances on Jeff and I both at the exact same time, and it was like really uncomfortable. And then like somebody else like gave like this nod, like, oh no, it's totally normal. No, it's not. No. And like that shit around me, like, no, fucking no.
Yeah.
Like, and I guess maybe that's why I want to talk about it, because it's like everybody be put on notice. Like, I'm not the person that you're going to run back to and like fucking tell this amazing story. I don't want to hear that shit.
Yeah.
And I don't want you doing that shit. You know what I mean? Like that's.
And when we're talking about, this particular story, when something happened to Jeff and I, we laughed about it because it was just like, what just happened? But there was no power for that person to do anything. Whereas in this situation, these people have dramatic power over these women's careers. So I'm so thankful that the New York Times spent the time to investigate this and to write this article, and that the industry has allowed this to be a catalyst for change. Hopefully, nothing has happened yet, although they've completely gotten rid of the board of directors of the Court of Master Sommeliers. So hopefully something new comes of that. I did, and I want to talk about something else, and this is going to seem minor, but it just goes to show how pervasive it is. I have a friend who was in the industry. She's not anymore. And she was telling me about, she was at a Court of Master Sommelier level 1 weekend thing, 2-day event. And she was the only female. And she went to ask a question of all the master sommeliers that were there. And she asked for a recommendation on where a server should keep their waiter tools if they're a woman and they're wearing an outfit that doesn't have pockets, which probably happens, I don't know, often. And did they recommend an apron, a jacket? What was their thought process on that? Now, this is somebody who's just trying to enter the wine world, speaking to an elite group of men within the wine world. And without hesitation, one of them said, that sounds like a personal problem. And they moved on and completely ignored what she was asking. And I know that doesn't sound like a big deal, but you have to think this is a young woman in front of a bunch of people in an industry she's looking to get into, and she's just dismissed of a question that she asks. And this wasn't anything, sexual in nature, but it was, part of the good old boys club, I guess. So John, I know you finally leaned up to the microphone like you might want to speak to this.
I had my eyes closed and I was listening to you guys, and we discussed before the show, and thank you, Kristen, for your comments legitimizing our need to speak to this, because I won't beat a dead horse, but worried about our standing to talk about it. But because we are in an ancillary way part of the industry, and I am more ingrained in it, being that I do produce, that to Solomon's point, it's like, and believe me, I make mistakes, and I'm always not always the nicest person, and sometimes giving short answers, and not to anybody in particular, and not to women, and not to men, and but I'm not gonna apologize to women for the behavior of men, because it's not us three, and it's not people of our mind that do these things. It's just frankly, they're criminals. These are criminal acts, and there's nothing redeeming about anything that they are because of that.
And I agree. And the biggest problem of it is that they're being protected.
Yeah, and that's just, if you know me, I mean, I, I don't want to get too political, but gee whiz, I mean, there's certain things that you just should be locked away and not come out.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that this arises to that kind of thing, but
it depends.
Yeah, it does depend, I suppose. It's just about. Let's go a little deeper than this, and I think, as a father of 3 boys, the most important thing I did in their upbringing was to show their mother respect unendingly.
Mm-hmm.
I made mistakes, but to always show them that I respected their mother so that they would respect the women in their lives. And I don't think that, these people that do these kinds of things, they got poor home training. They didn't have good male role models, and they didn't, because who acts like I see? This is what gets me so upset. And I'm so sorry that these things happen, and I know they do, but it's so foreign to me as a person that it's hard for me to relate how anybody even would have the mindset to do something like that.
Yeah.
I honestly don't understand where that comes from, because real men don't do that. They don't.
Absolutely. And when you're raising your kids, it's not even showing it. Yes, you show them respect to their mother, but you show respect to all women that you deal with.
Yeah, exactly.
And all people that you deal with. You treat servers well. You treat everybody well. And I don't know if it's something that's missing. I don't know. I don't know, and I don't even want to try to speak to where it comes from. But the thing that we need to teach people is to treat everybody well. Jeff.
Yeah. I was just thinking about how so many people wrote, wonderful articles about ideas about, where do we even start? There needs to be some sort of like rebuilding of, and obviously this is stuff that doesn't only happen with respect to the Court of Master Sommeliers. Absolutely. This is something that is pervasive in our society, but as we're addressing it in this little corner of the world, people are talking about there needs to be some sort of systemic change here, right? Because as we talk about where does anybody come up with this? I don't know. I can't imagine that anybody ever went, man, I can't wait to go through all this training to become a master sommelier so I can take advantage of women. Right. I can't believe that that's where people start out. Right. But what I can believe is when you immerse yourself in a culture where we idolize these 150 people on the planet that are better than me, and all of a sudden we put ourselves in these close mentorship type of roles with the heroes, with the ones that we want to be like, and meanwhile everybody kind of goes back, and obviously this is the way that I envision this. I'm not saying that I can speak to this is exactly how it goes, but I envision a group of the elites kind of on their own later on, talking about dude, the women fucking love this shit, and start kind of trading stories and ideas and fucking building themselves up to be better than who they are. And it's there's no repercussions at all. How long have all these different folks that everybody's yeah, that makes sense, I would expect that person to do it, for how long? And maybe we go over to fucking the allegations on Harvey Weinstein and Jeffrey Epstein and stuff like that, because it's that same type of thing. For how long did everybody just know and understand and accept that all these things were happening? And they're like, well, that's just the way it is, because a lot of times there's just like this circular reasoning. There's like this weird, like fucked up positive feedback loop where everybody just keeps feeding into each other's egos, and they get to this point where they think that this is normal. And there's nothing normal about it. And I think that we need to quit like fucking like just idolizing individuals for this made up, for this fucking pin that I'm wearing on my shirt, right? And I'm not saying that there's not a lot that goes into it, but part of what goes into it, which is very apparent, is, well, it's, do I know the right people? Am I allowed in this club? Right. And then there are all these other things that go along with it. It's just like, it's culturally fucked is what it is.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's the part where it's like, our friend Christy Norman wrote a great article it came out in VinePair a day or two ago, like talking about like the changes that she would like to see. And I really appreciate her taking the time to put that stuff out there. And she's shared her own personal stories about stuff like that before. And it's like, I just want to make sure, like, I want to make sure that if this whole organization, if they want to survive, they better start fucking listening, and they better start acting. And John, go for it, please.
You need to blow the whole fucking thing up.
Yeah.
Just like Christy said in her article, pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean, it's irredeemable to me. I mean, how to make those kinds of excuses? The entire board's been dismissed. People have resigned. Should make all those guys go sell Thunderbird at Exxon stations for the rest of their lives.
Yeah,
it's I'm sorry, Eccles. I just kind of I kind of lost my train of thought, but it's just irredeemable. You got to start from scratch.
I've been thinking about this a lot today. Is it dismantle it, or is it try to rebuild it? And it's, that's a question that we're not going to answer, but we can provide our thoughts on it. And Jeff, you were talking about on the Wine Curmudgeon, the interview that Melanie did, and she said, this is a branding, it's a brand that it's tarnished. And I think there's some validity to that. I think because there are thousands of people in this organization from initial sommeliers up that do fantastic work and are wonderful people. And so for them, I think it could be rebuilt, but it's gonna, Kristen made a comment, saying that we won't be able to make dramatic changes on this. It's going to be slow and painful, and we're going to make so many missteps. But if we can inch towards better, at the end of the day, that's a win for me. And I think that's well said, Kristen. And I think, if the Court of Master Sommeliers is truly wanting to change, and I think this happens a lot, right? I think this little fraternity got started in 1977, and it got huge, and it's gotten bigger and bigger and bigger, and they didn't recognize that they were becoming the organization they were becoming and make the changes that they should have made it. And it stayed a fraternity, especially at the top, right? You see this in corporations all the time. It's like the top is completely a different world than the rest of the environment. So I think this is a place where they can try to fix it, but they need input from everybody, not just the people at the top. John, what?
I have to disagree with Kristen a little bit here. I think dismantling is really only the way to do it, and here's why: because there's what caused this issue to happen from the beginning. You're talking about the top of the top master sommeliers. Who do they have access to? They have access to people with money. This is a money deal. You are invited into a fraternity to give you access to people with money, people that have no problem spending $1,000, $2,000 for a bottle of wine, and they're going to tip you $400 for serving it and explaining it and giving them the tasting notes. This is about money. It's about power, obviously about power, about taking advantage, about celebrity worship, and just bad, it's aberrant behavior. It's just sick. But it's about money, and the only way to really crush this and not make it that, and to bring it up as something that's attainable through skill and accomplishment. My personal thing is you just need to freaking knock it down to the ground and rebuild it.
Jeff, you had your.
Yeah, and I just think like the other thing that we need to think about, it's like how ridiculous is this? Like, here I am living my dream as a high school biology teacher.
Oh, I thought you were going to say podcaster.
Well, that's two-time award-winning podcaster, but like, you don't need to go to school for this part. But imagine how crazy that would be if I wanted to be a high school biology teacher. They're like, well, there's only one school you can go to, and nobody knows what's on the test.
Right.
You just really need to get to know the professors really well. It's like, isn't there another school? Isn't there another place that I could go? And the reality is there are other wine accreditation programs. It's that everybody's built up this thing, and it's the same thing. And I don't want to fucking like, look, if you got an Ivy League education, like, good on you, because I know that it wasn't cheap, and I know that it was a rough road to get there and probably to make it through. But I see it in students who are just so singularly focused. I'm in California, so they're so singularly focused of like, I'm going to go to Stanford. And then you go, why? And they go, well, that's where I'm going to go, because that's the best. And okay, what are you going to do after that? And they're like, I don't know. I went to Stanford. Did I win? And it's like, and I guess what I'm saying is like, there are other ways to go to learn a bunch about wine. And, if you're looking to get like, some sort of like certification to go along with it, there are other places that you can go. And yes, if you want to say that you're a master somm and you saw that movie or the second movie or the third movie by the one guy that shafted us and didn't show up on our show the one time he was booked. I mean, I understand why you're like idolizing this thing, but it's like, come on, dude, like, what the fuck are you doing? And I'm not trying to like, I do not want to like shit on education, because education is great, and like, please go as far and learn as much as you want to. Go to the ends of the earth and spend that money to educate yourself, but to be singularly focused on the only way that I'm going to meet my dream is to get this one thing from this one place, and I must do everything I can to get this. We're giving them too much power.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the marketplace, though, what does the marketplace accept? What
Well, the marketplace needs to fucking change. Like, okay,
that may be the hard.
You're part of like this big club, and now you can command $1,000 per public speaking experience. I mean, I could just call that dude up on the phone if I want to talk to a master psalm. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, to me, it all seems like it's so fucking nutty to me. Right. And like, if a restaurant is saying like, we only hire psalms that went through the Court of Master Sommeliers, like, well, your business model's stupid. It's a fucking dumb business.
Well, I'm just saying, but you're right. I agree with you. And the same thing happens in the beer world. I'm not classically trained. I haven't gone to the Siebel Institute or graduated from the Brewers Guild in Vermont. Or
your servers aren't cicerones.
They're not, but they know our beer, and I brew our beer to the best of my ability, and it turns out pretty good most of the time, right? So, but there's this whole culture that's grown up around this thing that was modeled after the European stuff. I don't know. So that's why I think dismantling it and just shaving it down to the nub is.
I hear you. I hear what you're saying, John. And the one thing I'll say against just totally dismantling it is there's a lot of lessons learned, or that should be learned from this, that could be carried forth into the rebuilt organization. Failure is a good teacher sometimes, and taking this pain and coming back from it could be a good lesson to carry through within the organization. At the same time, I'm not opposed to just blowing shit up sometimes and just saying, yeah, you tried, you failed. Yeah. Kristen, thank you so much for engaging with us in this conversation. You provided some great insight. We really appreciate you voicing your thoughts on this. Guys, I know that was a tough conversation. I appreciate you guys doing it. John, I appreciate you engaging with it because I know you didn't want to.
It's like I said, it's about the legitimacy of our standing. That's all.
I was happy to hear from everybody here, and yes, thank you, Kristen, in particular, for helping us out in the chat. And for those of you listening on audio, go to welikeDrinking.com/show. Take a look at those comments and see what you missed. And maybe next time, show up and watch live so you can give us an earful and let us know what we did wrong.
And if you haven't read the article, if you don't know what we're talking about, you can find the show notes for this episode. We've put a lot of links to a lot of different stories in there that you can get a lot more information and feel sick to your stomach.
Yeah, serious.
What's the word? Is it not Schadenfreude? Because we want to make ourselves. No, that's not right. I'm not delighting in the misery of others.
No.
What is it? It's misery loves company. That's what it is. I'm just fucking like miserable, like reading about all that shit and thinking about it. But we need to think about it. So
Isn't Misery Loves Company? Isn't it a Stephen King novel?
If you haven't read the New York Times article, please do. Like, it is a hard read, but you should read it to understand what is going on. And as you read it, think about these kind of things have probably happened to most of the women I know. And most of the women in your lives have had things like this happen to them. Kristen. Okay. So I think that's it. We spent a lot of time talking about that. Our viewership has plummeted. I'm sure it wasn't the funnest thing to listen to, but it was.
All right, now we're going to talk about a constitutional crisis. Let's go. No.
Like, if I owned a bar, the minute the political discussion
let's go.
go on, fuck it, you're all out of here. It's not happening. I gotta say, Thanksgiving this year at a lot of homes is
glad I'm not visiting anybody.
They're talking about, I don't mean to jest about things, but they're saying that our hospitals are in danger of being overrun again with COVID-19. When Thanksgiving gets here, there could be overrun with family battles as well. So be forewarned that Thanksgiving is coming, folks, and we don't know what.
An electric carving knife isn't that effective of a weapon, just let me tell you.
So it's last call. Time to clean house and lock the doors. You know what we do here, folks. We're looking for a little bit of help from you. John Ruyak, if folks want to follow us on social media, how can they do so?
Well, you can follow us on Twitter. That's We Like Drinking 1, the numeral 1. Instagram, We Like Drinking, and all of our favorite places is of all of our favorite places. The favorite is this place is the tavern, and that's welikedrinking.com/tavern.
I don't even know what you just said, John.
The favorite is
but I appreciate your words. Jeff Solomon,
a couple of New Zealand Zipas, and
Jeff Solomon, if the folks have some Schwarzers and they first reverse the birthday dish, where can they do so?
This week on the Favoritist, go to your Favoritist app that you listen to the show on. Find the empty 5 stars. Fill them motherfuckers all the way up. And leave a comment letting us know. I don't know. Actually, if you don't have anything nice to say, why don't you shut up?
Hey, we did get another 5-star review this week. Again.
Nice.
Oh, we did. We did.
Again. No words.
No words.
No review.
5 stars.
Get out of here. Take your stars back.
5 stars is 5 stars.
We have some minimalist achievers that listen to our show. So
I can't wait. Somebody's like, "Oh, this is really gonna piss them off." 5 stars, no comments.
Right. So if you've done all that and you want to do more, consider joining the elite club. The top crew, most of our viewers are in it. The group is our supporters at Patreon. Visit welikedrinking.com/pledge to find out how you can do more. Another $5 supporter joined us this week, back from traveling the world. Matthew signed up. He got a job.
All right. Yeah, Matty. Woo!
So welcome home, Matthew. Thanks for the coin. We'll be getting stuff out to you ASAP. You can also find the show notes for this episode with all the links to the stories or mentions we had at welikedrinking.com/episodes. All right. That was an unusual episode of We Like Drinking. We appreciate you through it. Let us know what you think. Let us know if you want to hear us talking about stuff like that, or if we should just STF you and make you laugh. But we've reached the time of the show where I get to say, okay, panel, let's take one last trip around this table and get some final thoughts before we shut off the lights. John Ruyak.
I don't.
Well said.
No. Proud to be a Buffalo Bills fan. Proud. You know why? It's got nothing to do with giving the Seattle Seahawks the beatdown. It's about the fact that Bills Mafia is supporting Children's Hospital in Buffalo after they learned that Josh Allen's grandmother passed away the night before the game. So what they do? They donated to his favorite charity, which is the Children's Hospital in Buffalo, New York. That's true fandom. Supporting your players for what they do in the community. That's what it's about.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, dude.
Jeff Solomon.
Cut the music. Crazy, but that's how it goes. Millions of people living as fools. Maybe it's not too late
to learn how to love
and forget how to hate. Something, something, blah, blah, blah. Insane. I'm going
off the
rails. Okay, bring it back.
When Ozzy is the voice of a year.
I was gonna say the voice of reason. Like I was like, yeah, man. Like fucking. How about we learn how to love, dude?
Yeah, man.
Not to hate, dude.
I mean, could we really call Ozzy the voice of reason? He's more the mumbler of reason, right?
I just feel I've never done an Aussie, but let me work out my Aussie impression before we. I just feel like Cheryl. I just feel like we should love, man. Love, mom, man.
I could do my Bob Dylan.
Oh, yours is way better. John, what?
Out of that. Oh, no.
Yeah. And Sharon said,
1,000 points of light. Is that the end? Did we just end the show?
I mean, I did it kind of an Aussie thing. I could do it again because
what'd you do it for real?
Okay. And with that, I'll say thanks again for joining us at the We Like Drinking podcast.
Where you'll never drink alone. Wouldn't be prudent at this juncture.
Wouldn't be prudent.
Apparently, it's not good to drink alone with the master sommelier either.
Impressions of impressions are the best.
Yeah. Thank you, Kristen. Kristen, if you didn't see it, keep talking. More people's opinion needs to be heard, and it's awesome that there are more platforms.
Oh, thank you, Kristen. Thank you.
And she also said Chelsea is going to be so excited for the Solomon song.
Oh.
So, John, Kristen doesn't hate us after we talked about it. So,
well, that's cool.
That's all that matters. So, who stuck around? Cody stuck around, and Kristen stuck around, and I think Rhett stuck around. I think everybody else said,
"We're out of here."
This is too fucking depressing.
Hey, let me ask everybody this before you close that out.
Yeah.
Did you see the Foo Fighters on Saturday Night Live?
At least one of them, maybe two.
So the first song that they did, I guess it's a new song.
Yeah.
It sounded like like it didn't sound like a Foo Fighters song. It was weird. It was like very, very like Dave Grohl being all like soulful and stuff. It was just, it was different. It was just, I looked over at Kara afterwards. I'm like, I mean, if my eyes would have been closed, and if you asked me who was singing, I might have said Dave Grohl, but like, it didn't sound like the Foo Fighters. It was weird.
It was very gooey.
I think he said it was the darkest song they've ever done.
Ah.
Yeah. It was odd. It wasn't odd. It was just, it was
different. Like, it was like, I'm like, wow, that's like,
Yeah.
I was thinking about the Foo Fighters. Like, the Foo Fighters are a great band, dude. Like,
generally upbeat with some dark messages occasionally.
But like on top of that, where it's like, here's the other thing that's weird, because like that very first Foo Fighters album, that was all Dave Grohl doing everything, and then he hired a band afterwards.
Right.
And then it was like, it slowly over time became like an all-star band, like Pat Schmear from the Germs, who also played in Nirvana for a little bit, and fucking Chris Shiflett, who was in No Use for a Name from San Jose, punk band. So it's really, yeah, I like them. They're all right. It was different. It was, yeah.
They're one of my favorites.
The Color and the Shape could be one of the best albums ever. Like one of the best rock albums ever. It's really good.
Yeah. All right.
True story. True story.
True story. All right. Thank you to everybody that stuck around. Thank you, Kristen, for chiming in. I liked your Catholic guilt. All right. I don't think you have anything else. Folks, join us next week. We are drinking, is it wine next week? I think it's wine.
And is that the
calendar?
Is that the pre-Thanksgiving, or do we have one more before?
That would be the pre-Thanksgiving.
That's 17th. It says wine. We haven't picked a wine yet.
Yeah, we don't even.
Better do it soon before everything shuts down here in New Mexico again.
That's true. What do you guys think? YouTubers, you're still watching. We're still keeping this shit going because why not?
Have we done Pinot Noir?
We have.
Have we done Zinfandel?
Have we done Old Vine Zin?
I think we've done.
Don't. Just Zinfandel in general.
I think we've done Zin.
We have.
Yeah, we have done Zin.
Let me check.
It's been a long time.
We did Beaujolais Nouveau before.
We did Nouveau.
We did Beaujolais Nouveau this past spring.
Yeah.
I've got it's not that. I've got a list of everything we've done. Let me see if I can find it. Drinking episodes.
Kristen wonders about Pinot Blanc.
We have not done Pinot Blanc. We did Zin on episode 115.
Cru Beaujolais.
We have not done Pinot Noir.
We haven't done Pinot?
Apparently not.
So peen.
Franc.
It's like a bold peen.
We've done Barbera, pizza wine, Tempranillo, boxed wine, Croatian wines, Riesling. We did Gamay, Sangiovese Boons.
With certified color. Oh, God.
That's so us. We've done Boons, but we haven't done Pinot.
You want to do Pinot Noir?
I mean, we can add it to the list to take to the listeners, to the patrons.
If we get some Pinot, I'd love to order some.
So you want more time, so you can get some Oregon peen.
Man, there's this Saint Innocents. They do nothing but Pinot, but from different vineyards around the Willamette Valley. Different vineyards, just the different facings, all kinds of stuff.
What we did do, we did the Maker Pinot just recently,
right?
Yeah, so
that's not the same as doing a whole thing.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's getting kind of upset there. I mean, John was a little bragging. He was trying to rub his peen in our face. Oh God!
I mean, I could order some Argyle,
So I'm hearing Pinot Blanc, Pinot Noir. What else?
Pinot Gris.
Pinot Gris. Okay.
Pinot Meunier.
Good luck. Like I've seen one that I can think of, one bottle of standalone Pinot. No, it wasn't even Pinot Meunier. No, I haven't seen a bottle of it.
I'll be right back.
John's got to go take a shit.
It's a security emergency. should we say goodbye to the
Yeah.
YouTubers?
Hey, go ahead.
I just want to say, hey, YouTube, thanks for hanging out. Weird show. I hope everybody's doing okay, and yeah, we love all y'all. That's for real.
All the loves.
That's coming from the HART.
Talk to you all next week. We'll let you know. Oregon Peen from Dundee Hills. Fuck yes, Cody. Ship us some.
Oh, what's that?
I see the Gruyere, but what is it?
Oh, it's a Gruyere still shard. Oh, Pinot Meunier, dude.
Shit.
They grow it right up the road from us on I-25. It's on Pueblo land. They do a sparkling from this, of course.
Yeah.
But this is a still that we're part of the one. Wine club is 3 times a year, so.
You see what Cody wrote?
Yeah.
What?
Wait for one of Solomon's home brews.
Yeah. No.
All right.
Come on, man. You love that Session Merlot.
The sparkler is really different. I don't know if you ever had a Pinot Meunier.
I've never had a still Pinot Meunier ever.
No.
All right.
That's cool.
Love you, viewers. Talk to you all next week.